Hey everybody, and welcome back. So today I wanted to do, because I know that I feel like there's so many different brands of liquid lipsticks out there, and I mean obviously I have not tried them all, but out of the ones that I own right now I kind of wanted just to do like a top 5 and basically compare the formulas of each one, so that way in case you don't happen to, for whatever reason, own any of these or like one from one of these brands, you can kind of have like a better feel going into it versus like with majority of these, like I kind of just was like, oh, the color is pretty, I want to try it, and then that's how you find out about the formula. But this can save you that step. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it and get into my top 5 liquid lipstick brands. The first one, this is in no particular order, it's just kind of like I have them all laid out in front of me. And I'm just going to be going with the Dose of Colors. This is one of the newest liquid lipsticks that they just came out with, this truffle. I actually haven't even opened this one yet. Like, I bought it at the store, so obviously I know what it looks like, but I haven't used it yet. But this one, I'm not really like I said, this is no particular like color range either. It's just kind of like I picked one from each one in my collection that I have. Formula wise, this is more of a moussey liquid lipstick, so it's not nearly as drying, and it won't make your lips feel all cracky like some brands will that I've noticed thus far. So it's really moisturizing. It does take a little bit longer to dry, and it has that like slightly tacky feeling for a few minutes, but as a whole I'd prefer that versus like the dry cracky feeling of my lips. I can't stand that. I do use a lip balm on before I put any liquid lipsticks on to kind of try and like avoid that, but I mean like my bottom lip just naturally has like lines in it, so those just tend to come out more so with certain liquid lipstick brands, but it's less so with the Dose of Color liquid lipsticks. But with this one, I like, another thing that I really like about it is the applicator, because it's a really unique looking little applicator. It's not a normal doe foot applicator. It's kind of got a slight curve to where the bottom of it, like it almost like hooks and kind of curves with the bottom lip as you're putting it on, which I do really like that, because I feel like it helps to get you a nice smooth curve line when you're doing your bottom lip. And I have not seen a doe foot applicator like that from any other brand at all. So if you haven't tried any of those, or if you have, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But it just makes it so much more seamless, because I know sometimes I'll have like trouble getting that like really nice straight line all the way across when you're curving it, and it just, that one kind of takes a little bit of the extra work away from you. So that one is really good. All these price range are right around the same thing, to be honest, except for the ColourPop ones, which obviously are far more affordable, but everything else is in like the $17 to $19 range. And then the next one, ColourPop. So these ones are far more affordable. I've heard a lot of people say that they're a lot more watery and too liquid. Like if you were to tip it upside down, they would fall. Okay, I guess this one is a test to that. I haven't used this color specifically, but I feel like with each one it's a little bit different. With each color with ColourPop is a little bit different in formula. But then again, I have heard as well that they did try and reformulate it after hearing all those comments about it. But this one definitely is more of a water consistency in comparison to the Dose of Colors, where it has that more moussey texture. This one doesn't take quite as long to dry as the Dose of Colors, obviously because it's a thinner consistency. This one I do notice a slight, like ever so slight tackiness pretty much the entire time I'm wearing it. I mean, obviously if you have balm, like lip balm underneath it, it'll be a little bit tacky, but even with this one I feel like when I don't specifically have lip balm underneath, it is a little bit tacky the entire time that I'm wearing it, which I mean isn't a bad thing. And since most of the time when I'm wearing it, it's like right before I go to work, so I don't have time to be sitting there like bored and like playing with my lips per se. Like I tend to like do that blotting motion a lot just randomly if I'm not paying attention, but since I'm so busy at work I don't have a problem with that. And I think that'd be the only slightly annoying thing about having it be slightly tacky throughout the day. But I mean, other than that, price wise it's great. They have a great range of colors. They're consistently coming out with new colors, so that one is really good if you're kind of just like wanting to delve into that color of liquid lipsticks with a cheaper brand before you go and grab something from a more high-end expensive brand. But overall, color wise, it's very opaque, a one swipe color type of thing. You don't have to build it up. If anything, it's better if you don't. Like, what I recommend that I found that works good for me across the board with different brands is if you get a good amount of product on the applicator from the bat. So get a good amount of product, don't try and wipe it off. Get a good amount of product and then go in, pick the top lip or the bottom lip, and then just go and make sure you get that color all over to where there's a good amount of product on there first off. Because if you try building it, a lot of times it gets like cakey and it almost gets like patchy to where like it takes off some of it while you're moving it to get it around. And I feel like that it's frustrating because you almost have to wipe it all off and completely start again. So with both of those so far, actually all of these have really good color payoffs. There's no real difference that I've noticed, to be honest, between like the ColourPop and the Dose of Colors color saturation. So those are both really good. And then the next one is just the Kat Von D. I don't own nearly as many colors in these liquid lipsticks as I do other brands. Not for any reason, it's just that nothing has completely caught my eye as much as other brands do. But this is Lolita. I believe this might be the third release of Lolita. I got it a couple months back. It is darker than I had hoped, but it's still a pretty color. This one, formula wise, is almost between the ColourPop and Dose of Colors. It's not as moussey as Dose of Colors, but it's not as liquid like as ColourPop. This one, to be honest, I feel like it's that perfect balance between the two. It's again like a one swipe color payoff that you don't have to sit there and build it, but like I said, that method of just getting a lot of product on to evenly get it on the first time works with all of these. And this one, dry time, it dries a little bit faster than the other two, and from what I remember, because I haven't worn the Kat Von D ones in a while, they don't have tackiness, which it's not a deal breaker, but it is nice to not have them be tacky. I think that there should definitely be a good mix between having some moisture and having your lips feel like they're the Sahara Desert, and like you can like part the Red Sea and like that little line right here in your lip, which is so frustrating and not cute. And the next brand is a Romy. I just have two colors by this brand. The first one I am wearing right now, it's the pink periwinkle shade, and this one is Desert Taupe. It's like a nice gray. Oddly enough, these all were kind of in the same like color family, but this is like a really pretty color, which is not the point of this video. I'm not talking about the colors, but this is the most liquid like formula out of all of these brands that I've tried so far. It dries a lot quicker. One thing I do appreciate it that I like a lot is it doesn't make my lips feel like dry. Some of these do. I mean, obviously it's like it is a liquid lipstick, so it is supposed to be matte. That is the point of it. But there are different degrees of the matte level, and this one is the most wearable in my opinion from a Romy, because it stays on there. It is slightly tacky, unfortunately, but it does not make you feel like you can't do that. I feel like that's important. Maybe not in public, in front of other people, just randomly, but just so you know that you can do that, I feel like is important to me. But this one, color payoff, there's really not too much of a difference. It is slightly less opaque than the other brands that I've mentioned thus far, and price range sadly is right around the same. I wish it was a little bit more affordable, but I do like the formula enough to where if there's a color that I saw, I wouldn't have any hesitation to go and get it. The only thing that I don't particularly care for is the doe foot applicator. The little like fuzz, the little like miniature little bristly things around it that are on every doe foot applicator, they're very stiff, and it's almost like it's just not a soft feeling when you're putting it on. It's kind of like you need to load the product on there so where you don't feel the actual applicator on your lip, because it's a strange feeling and it's not soft. So I wouldn't, don't expect it to be soft if you happen to give that brand a try. But I mean, in reality, that's not a huge downfall, and these dry pretty quickly. It is a little bit tacky, but I feel like it's comfortable. It's not like a sticky tacky, it's just like a moisturized tacky feeling. And these last a really long time. They're definitely right up there with all of these other brands. As far as staying power, Dose of Colors stays really well, like all day type of thing, especially if you have anything from them with any kind of like pink or red undertones. It will sting your lips, which some people don't like, so that's totally understandable. But if you do like that, it will last you all day long, and that's phenomenal if you're busy and you're on the go and you don't have time to worry about that. And the last brand is just Anastasia, and this is one of my favorite shades from her that I have thus far, and it's just Sepia. This one, I feel like this is such a great formula. This is literally the closest thing that I can think of is like if you had left your lipstick, an actual lipstick, in the car and it was like warm but not hot to where it was going to melt, and you put it on, it's like really creamy and buttery. That is the closest thing I can compare the formula to of the Anastasia liquid lipsticks. It's that very buttery, smooth consistency. Mind you, with all of these, obviously keep the cap on tightly, because I have seen products like at the store with like testers and stuff, they all do dry really quickly, and then you'll never get that like buttery consistency that I'm talking about. Just make sure you keep the lids on tight with these. Staying power is amazing. These last so good. I mean, obviously just like the inner rim will start to come off if you're eating anything, that's just normal. But color opacity is one swipe. All of these pretty much are like one swipe colors. And dry time, this is probably one of the more quicker drying liquid. Constantly coming out with new colors, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I appreciate that. So you always have like some variety, and then they have the limited edition ones. But overall, these are just the top 5 brands that I have found so far, and they just are really long wearing, good color payoff. So I think if you can kind of like weed through like brands here and there, whether they're like more affordable or less affordable, I think that's important, especially for the wallet. That's always important. So that is pretty much it for this video. I'm kind of excited. I put my pony thing back in. I got like multiple questions like over the last like however many months that I did the video about it. I'll talk about it for like 3 seconds on here. They're still really good. I really enjoy wearing it. If I could wear more of the like vibrant colors to work, I still would buy more, because they're just super easy and you don't even have to think about it. You just put your hair up and voila. So that is beside the point. So I hope you enjoyed this video and some of my top 5. I kind of want to do that too. I want to do a top 5 concealers, but that will be in a video to come. But that is all for today, and I will see you all very soon for my next video, and have an amazing week. Stay cool if it's hot where you are. If you're in an area where it's cold, you're lucky. I envy you. I want to come to you wherever that is. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.